everybody, I'm Dave Swift, and in this video, we're gonna be looking at WP Fluent Forms. This is a pretty new WordPress plugin. I think it's been, I've been seeing it around for maybe a few months now. I'm not sure how long it's actually been developed, but they are currently running a lifetime deal, and we're gonna be digging into the software during this video. Now, some of the things that they boast are a really complete feature set. You can see they have a pricing table here where they compare themselves to the big dogs like WP Forms, Gravity Forms, those companies, and they hold up pretty well, at least in their checkbox. But you never can trust the marketing because they're going to make themselves look good. They also boast that they are one of the faster or even the fastest Forms plugin. Now, I haven't really noticed that Forms are a super heavy load on sites, but apparently that might be a thing. So we're definitely going to put this thing through its paces. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I've got a demo site set up right over here, and you see I've got Fluent Forms Pro already installed. It is worth noting there is a plain vanilla version of Fluent Forms that is free on the WordPress repository, so you can download it, play with it. It might do everything that you need, but we're going to be looking at some of the premium features that they add here. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started by creating a brand new form. Now, one of the things that I liked out of the gates about Fluent Forms is they have a bunch of presets set up. Now, if you've ever used another form builder on WordPress, that's pretty unusual. I don't recall having this many different templates set up for me. Now, obviously, it's pretty easy to build any form that you like, but it sure is nice to have a little bit of a starting spot, especially if you're newer to WordPress or newer to form building. It's really handy to have all of these different templates built in. So let's say I wanted to, create a survey. I could start off with this student survey form right here. They also have an online order form, maybe a product order form. Let's go ahead and pick one from the bottom here. How about a software survey form? We'll click on that and then go ahead and hit create new form here. Actually, I didn't even need to do that. I just open it up. And here you go. You've got some kind of generic questions all filled in. You can see we've got the check boxes, a star rating, and then a field here for people to fill out, as well as a submit button. Now, one of the things we should probably clear up right away is that form builders in WordPress don't often have styling involved in them. So I think that's something that, you buy Gravity Forms and you think, oh, I'm going to be able to create these beautiful looking forms. Well, actually, it doesn't come out of the box looking all that amazing. You're going to have to do a little bit of CSS coding. So that is an interesting thing here. And, we don't buy on roadmaps ever, but you do want to check that the company is actively developing the plugin, that it's going to continue to get better. And as I mentioned, that this is pretty new. I've only been seeing it around in the Facebook groups or people talking about it for a few months. So this one is a very new plugin, and you can see that they've already blasted through a ton of their Trello board. They've added integrations with different email marketing platforms. They've added new features really, really quickly. They've got a lot on their plate for upcoming. This is upcoming features for 2019. So still going to happen this year. We're reaching the end of the year. It's almost December as of the recording of this video. And one of the biggest things that they've got, or the first thing on their list, is actually a official global styler. So that will add the ability to make these forms look like anything that you want. Now, you won't need a page builder to do that, but you'll still be able to use the forms inside of a page builder just by using a shortcode. So let's get into it. I'm going to kind of dig into the plugin for you, show you how all of the fields work. It's kind of like a page builder for forms. I mean, it's really, really simple to use. You can see over here we have the little widgets, and if we wanted to add something to our form, we just drag and drop it. Now, let's kind of go through each one of the widgets. These are the general fields, so they're not going to be the advanced ones or the premium ones. This will be everything you'll be able to do just with the free version, I believe, without exception there. I think everything here is included. So let's go through it. We've got a name field. It's exactly like you'd expect. I can drag and drop it in. By default, it's splitting up the first and the last name, but I can click on it. And let's say I just wanted to make this a full name. I could remove last name, and then I'll change this text right here by clicking this little disclosure triangle, and I'll just type in full name. And so you'd have first name, middle name, or last name if that's what you wanted. Very easy to set that up. Turn on and off these boxes right there. And then we can also add some conditional logic. Now, that is definitely a premium feature here. This is under the advanced options. options. Conditional logic would be the idea that you ask someone one question, and based on their response, you can ask them another question. So let's say I said, what is your favorite type of ice cream? Do you like chocolate or vanilla? And you answered vanilla. And then I follow up with the question, well, do you like to put chocolate sauce on it or strawberry sauce? And then you could answer that. But that only shows up if you answered that you liked vanilla. So that's how conditional logic works. You can branch your forms out, make them pretty complex. And the system for conditional logic here is very simple, really easy to use. So I just turn it on for the question, and then I choose which question I would like to base the logic on. So, here it says, how did you hear about? And if it equals one of our friends, then this question will display. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off for now, but I just wanted to show you that feature right out of the gates. Let's go back over to here where it says input fields. We can see the list. Now, I'm not gonna drop every single one in because I think you're gonna get the point. You can add an email address here. There is a simple text form. You'll know exactly what that looks like. All right, this is kind of an interesting one, mask input. So mask input is if you want someone to enter in some data in a particular format. Let me just show you how this works because it's kind of easier to see how it works than it is to try and explain it. So here is the mask input field. Now, if I click on this, I can choose one of their predefined templates. So here would be like a phone number, right? Where you have the first 3 digits in the front, and there it's in parentheses, and then you have 3 digits dash another 4 digits. And there are 5 different predefined masked inputs where someone has to enter it in a particular format. And you can actually create your own. If you go to custom here, you'll be able to enter in your own masked input using, they have a little helper here. I can pull it up for you. So here is the formula that you use to create the mask input. I'm not going to go into great detail in this, but they show you exactly what the directions are so that you can get your format entered in to the form exactly as you like. You can see this stuff is really smart. They say it's a fast loading form plugin, but I think it's a really fast plugin to use. You can see I could start with a nice template. Dragging and dropping in stuff is really quick. And case in point, they have a country list, right? So how often do you see that when you're filling out a form, you have to enter in your country? Well, if you want to add that to your form, typically you'll have to find a list of countries and copy and paste it into your form builder. Well, they were smart enough to just be like, you know what, people use this, let's enter it in as is. And so that is there, really cool. We'll leave this on and we go and look and preview it. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, obviously I'm not taking a lot of care here to make the form make a lot of sense, but I just want to show you the different features. All right, so numeric field, obviously you can only enter numbers in that. A drop down, that's gonna have a drop down appearance, right? We can click and enter in some options here. So let me go ahead and just enter in some options. You can see what this looks like. All right, so I just added a few options to the dropdown. You know what, let's start to clean this thing up a little bit so it makes some sense, and then we'll preview it. So right now, we've just got a row of questions and it looks pretty sloppy. So I'm gonna go back out to the input fields, and if I go down here to the bottom, we actually have a container where I can start to put things into columns. So right now we're in a 1-column setup, but if let's say I wanted to add a 2-column setup here, so that maybe I'll put the country field right over here, and then I'll put the drop-down menu right over there. All right, that's starting to look better already. I want to move this email underneath the name so I get someone's name, email address. Let's get rid of this masked input because I didn't really do anything with it. And then we've got some questions down here. And you know what? I think this would look good maybe with a 3-column container. So I'll put that right there. And we should be able to just grab these questions and slide them right in there. Now, what's happening, you can see the colors are purple as I move it, and that's telling me where it's going to land. And as I go over this second column, the form moves out of the way and I'm not able to get it in. So maybe I'll just try dropping it underneath this other one right here because that is working. And then I'll try to slide it over. Okay, so I would say that's a little bit of a bug because I'm not able to just go directly into the container. Not the end of the world, but it did, I could see someone getting frustrated and not thinking to do what I just did there. And then wanting to quit working on their form or writing to support and saying it's broken. So hopefully they can fix that. Minor thing, but it is definitely there. Or then we've got this star rating down here, and that'd be great. We've just reviewed several review type of software that is soliciting responses from people. Now, I still think they have value, but if you didn't want to use one of those, you wanted to build your own system using a form builder, it's nice that they have star ratings built right in here. You can see that it's letting you add some copy here to indicate the strength of your rating, whether it's nice to amazing. You could change that to be whatever you like, whether you want to turn that on. There's an option to turn on that text text right here. It says show copy, and you can also make the rating required. All of these forms I haven't mentioned, but of course, all of these forms have the option to make them required. So here we can see the full name is not required right now, but if I turn it on to be required, you get the little star that you're used to seeing when you fill out forms. All right, so moving on, what I'm gonna do with this star rating here is I've got some options. I can turn off the label if I want to. I can also leave that on and let's say move the label to the top, the left, or the right. So you can see how it's moving. Actually, it didn't move very much for the right there, but the label should be sliding around. I'm gonna leave that on default because I think that obviously looks the best. All right, so I've got this looking decent. Let's go ahead and save the form and we'll preview it over here. All right, so you can see right away that it's taking on the look of the theme that I'm running on WordPress, which in this case is the Astra theme. So it's grabbing the colors and the fonts and everything from the customizer. Now you could add some additional CSS here to, style things exactly as you want, or, in hopefully less than a month, we'll have access to their custom styler that will let us, add colors and, really define the forms how we like them to look. But you know what? I think this looks pretty good. Astra does a good job of doing styling like this. So I appreciate that. We can see what these drop-down boxes look like. Here is our country. You can see our country drop-down box. You can see it has a lot of different countries available, probably everyone in the world, I'd imagine. And then we have the drop-down box for the options that I added. Here's the check boxes, what they look like. So, it's kind of a default kind of form looking, nothing too amazing here. All right, let's go and add some more advanced fields. Let me show you what this thing can really do. We'll go back into the editor here. Now we've looked at, I think, all of the interesting general fields. You can add a file upload. That's nice. I'll show you some options here. You can specify what types of files are allowed. I think that's really nice. People like to do that. Say, okay, you can only upload PDFs or you can only upload images. That's all we're going to accept. So that's really handy to know about. Let's go back to the input fields. Obviously, you can add some custom HTML. That's what that means. The phone field we talked about. Yeah, I think that is pretty much the essential ones that are really nice to know about. Now let's move on to the advanced fields. And this is what you're getting when you get the Pro Premium add-on. Some really nice additional features here. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that when you buy the LTD, at least as of the making of this video, you also get their signature add-on pack, which is usually, I think, $59 or $99 included for free. I'll have to check on the price on that. So this is a separate plugin that you add and install. You don't have to have signatures available, but if you want to accept signatures with your forms, you can do so. So, I mean, this could be the type of thing where you could build out maybe an entire proposal and have people check boxes and decide which options they want, and then even sign the document and hire you. I don't know about the legality of whether it would be legally binding, how that all works, but it's something. It's better than nothing. Let's talk about some of these other nice to haves, very convenient things that they've added in. You want to add a GDPR option. There you go. You got the little checkbox with the proper copy inserted. Terms and conditions, same thing. So I've read the terms and conditions. It links up to the terms and conditions and privacy policy on your website. If you don't have them correct, you can go into this and edit the link to have those linked out to the proper place. I just accidentally turned that off, but that's fine. We can hit the undo button there and we got it linked up again, or at least I thought we did. All right, another impressive looking feature is the range slider. We've all seen this as we're filling out different things online. You can have a range slider here where you let someone choose, say, a number between 1 to 10. How satisfied are you? Choose a number between 1 to 10. Actually, let's look at that. Let's go ahead and open this up in the preview. Here is the range slider. Now, again, that's going to take on the styling of the theme most likely, but it looks pretty darn good. I mean, kind of silly with that green right there, but overall, it looks pretty darn impressive. And then you can also add just page breaks with this form step option right here. So when I insert this, it'll ask someone to go to the next page. Let's go ahead and save this and take a look at what that looks like. So here we go. We've got the first part. I probably should have put the advanced above. I'm not being very specific where I'm dropping this stuff. I apologize for that. Of course, my name is required, and then I can go to the next part of the form here. You can see it's got a nice little animation, slides in, looks really good. I'm pretty impressed. Let's try out the signature. It looks pretty good right there. So you can sign with your mouse. That's always fun to do, right? It's even better than signing with your finger at the store. Overall, this is looking like a pretty easy to use drag and drop form builder. I think anyone who's ever used a page builder will find themselves really, really at home using this software. Now, let's talk about some more of the integrations and what happens to your form after it's complete and you want, someone submits it, because there's some really thoughtful ideas here with how they set this up. So if we go under settings and integrations, now this can be on a form by form basis, or it can also be, you can set up defaults, right? So right now we're looking at the settings just for this particular form. So I can have the confirmation settings. What happens to the person after they submit the form? Should they stay on the same page, get a message? Should they go to a different page on your website? Or should they go to a custom URL that's not on your website at all? You can set that up right here. You can set up the alignment for the form, the basic styling, whether labels are on the top, left, or right, whether the help, when you hover over the items, you can actually enter in a tooltip, which I didn't show you when we were building it, but I can show you where that is. Let's actually jump back into the editor here. And on any one of these fields, I'll click on the dropdown right here. If I go under advanced options, I can have a help message right here. How cool is that? Let me demonstrate this for you. All right, let's save form. We'll preview this. Remember, it was over the dropdown. And now we've got a little tooltip. It was super easy to set up. Nothing, no coding needed. I didn't have to install an additional plugin or buy a deal from AppSumo. I've just got a little tooltip to help people know what you're asking for in the form. I mean, there's certainly use cases for that where you're filling out forms and it's not really clear what they need or why they need it. And so you can make it really, really clear for people filling out your forms. All right, back to the settings and integrations here. Let's finish up. All right, so we talked about the help message. There's an error message as well that we can position. The asterisks, that would be for the required field, right? We can do some scheduling restrictions. So basically this is if you want to set up a maximum number of people that can submit the form, because maybe you're taking registrants and you only have a certain amount of space, you could do that. You can set up scheduling so that the form is only available to be submitted for a certain period of time. So again, if you're taking registrations, you can set it up so registration opens up on December 1st and it closes on December 7th, and people have to fill it out in that time. It will disappear. We can also do some things in terms of whether people have to be logged in to fill out the form. That's really nice to have. And I forgot to mention up here, but there is the ability after someone submits the form to hide it from them completely or to just reset the form. So maybe you want someone to be able to fill out the same form twice. You could reset it for them, or maybe, once it's submitted, it's done, then you would hide the form. So those are the two options there. All right, let's go over to email notifications, because I think this is important for a form builder. Once the form is submitted, people have to know. Like if you're getting leads, if you're using this for paid traffic and you're getting leads with the form, you have to be able to get notified that someone filled out the form. You don't want to have to log into the website to see where all the submissions are. So here you can go ahead and set up those notifications. Right now it is disabled, but we can go ahead and set up as many notifications as we like. By default, it's going to go over to the admin email, but I could certainly type in anything I want here. You can see it's just going to paste in all the data from the form, and then it's going to tell you when the form was submitted. So really, really easy to set up. Works well. I'm happy with that email notification system. Now, what they have planned is a native integration with some transactional email services like Amazon AWS. I'll actually go to their public roadmap here again and point that out to you. Yeah, right over here, upcoming in Q1, they're going to integrate with Mailgun, SendGrid, SES, etc. So I would doubt it's going to be all of those all at once, but that'll be really nice. So you're probably going to need to use one of those services if you're already sending out emails from your website. It's a good idea to be using a transactional email service. And so it's nice to see that they're just going to build that right into the form builder. All right, down here we can add our own CSS. Now, if you don't know CSS from scratch, you could use a plugin like CSS Hero, which I've got installed on this site, to go ahead and style the form and inject it right in. Although some of this might be moot, given that they're going to be introducing that form styler, that global styler, coming out soon. Then we've got marketing and CRM integrations. Now, I don't have any configured right now, so let's go to the modules to see which ones are available. Now we've got WP Fusion. Now it's kind of funny because WP Fusion works with literally everything, but their description of WP Fusion here is it syncs Fluent Forms with Mautic. I guess that was because they did integrations with a lot of other, a lot of the big ones already have native integrations. So by adding WP Fusion, they cover their bases with Mautic. We've got ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Webhooks. I know a lot of people get excited when they see webhooks. New LTDs that you might be excited about. We got SendFox, MooSend is up there. You can connect up to Google Sheets. I like that because if you're taking surveys or something like that, you want to send it off to a sheet where you can sort it later. You can do Slack notifications. So really, really thoughtful. Oh, one that is kind of cool and unique is they have Twilio. So you could get an SMS message, which is great if you're running paid traffic. Here's a scenario where this works really well. If you're running paid traffic for a local business and the business owner might not be super techie, they might not be checking their email 20 times a day, but they do check their text messages, right? Everyone checks their text messages. So you can set up Twilio to send them a text message when they get a new lead, and then they can follow up ASAP, because calling your leads back really fast, pro tip, really important, as fast as possible, like within minutes, to be able to close them. So that is a really cool feature there. I was happy to see that. All right, we're outside of the form builder now, kind of working back at some of the global settings. I didn't show you when I was building the form, but they do have the ability to add ReCAPTCHA inside of your form to make sure that you're not getting a lot of bots filling out your form. Now this does integrate with Google, so you're gonna need to set it up with your Google API, but it's very easy to do here, and they've got directions right over here on how to set it up. You paste in your site key and your secret key, hit save settings, and then you'll be able to use that ReCAPTCHA module when you're building out your form. All right, so here's the main screen where I can see all my forms. You can see I've just got 2 set up on this site. If I had submissions, they would come in right here, and I could view them by submission. Now I don't have any submissions, so it's gonna just be a blank screen, but you'd be able to see what's come in, and you can export them from here as well. You can export them to CSV, Excel, ODS, or JSON. We can filter them. It's got some nice filtering built in. It's pretty decent little reporting system, a lot beefier than I was necessarily expecting, given how young this plugin is. I think that is what is kind of exciting. So what I want to do now, before we start to wrap this up, is let's just compare it to Gravity Forms, right? Because to me, Gravity Forms is kind of the biggest dog in WordPress because of their ecosystem, right? They have so many add-ons, both that come with the main builder, but also just third-party add-ons. You can go to their community section and just see, they have boatloads of companies that have very expensive, often, add-ons that work with Gravity Forms. And I think for most people, if you go and you look at what Fluent Forms does and you look at what Gravity Forms does, the essential things, the stuff that from my experience, most businesses actually care about, you're getting right now with Fluent Forms, with only a couple exceptions. So the 2 things that I would love to see Fluent Forms add in is payment integration, which is on their roadmap. And I would also really like to see the ability to create front-end submissions, right? So where you're entering in a form and that can go to fill out, say, a custom post type inside of WordPress. Now, I'm told that both of those things are coming. Let's go see where they are on the roadmap here. So Q1, they're going to add Stripe integration as well as PayPal integration. They're also going to be adding in PDF form entries. So that's really nice. As well as here is the custom fields. That's actually coming this year. We can do advanced post creation with a custom field. So that is pretty exciting now. So why am I going on and on about this roadmap when I always say it's a cardinal sin to buy something based on the roadmap? Well, I guess I'm giving it more credence here based on the fact that they've already ticked off all of these boxes, and I know that they're really great developers. They make another product I love called Ninja Tables. So I already have a lot of faith in the company, and they show that they're really invested in making Fluent Forms, be a high quality product. All right, so before we wrap this thing up, let's just do a pricing comparison against Gravity Forms. So if we look at Gravity Forms, for their unlimited license, it's $259 per year. It's not a LTD. There's not a Gravity Forms LTD. Of course, it's going to come with all of their add-ons, and they already have those other features. They've got billing built in. They have a form submission plugin. I think that one actually might be premium to make it go into a post. So there is a really developed ecosystem with Gravity Forms. So the plus of going with Gravity Forms is that you're going to have, a proven system that integrates with basically everything, and there's already a huge ecosystem of add-ons built in. So that is definitely a plus that we should not take away from. But I do believe that this is going to be one of those videos that people look at a year from now and they're going to go, I could have gotten Fluent Forms for how much? Oh my gosh, I definitely missed out on that one. So if you're watching this a year from now, I'm sorry, but you know what? It's probably still a pretty good deal. So right now, the LTD is $3.99, and there is a significant discount. I'm not going to talk a lot about the Black Friday discount that's going on right now because it's going to disappear soon, and then this video will just make everyone mad. But know that right now, there is a very significant discount of $3.99 on Fluent Forms. So you're not going to pay $3.99 if you buy it right after you watch this video. So definitely go check that out. Now, the lifetime deal is only for unlimited sites. They don't have a lifetime deal for 1 or 5 sites, but they do have single licenses. So those would be the annual plans right there. I think they're less interesting, right? Because if you go over to Gravity Forms, you can get a single site license over here for $59, although you don't get all of their add-ons. So you won't have all of the functionality. I guess it kind of goes back and forth a little bit. All right, so bottom line, what are my final thoughts on Fluent Forms? I think this is a really well thought out plugin by a very innovative and hardworking company. I've been in touch with people at Fluent Forms over the last month and a half or so. They've been actually asking me to make a video, and I hadn't done it yet. I was like, it's a form plugin. But I'm so excited that I did. And I used Ninja Tables for our Black Friday page, and it was amazing. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, how did you make that? So really, really exciting company, WP Managed Ninja. I'm going to be watching them very, very closely. I'm going to give Fluent Forms a 9.0. This is a great plugin. Everyone should grab it that does WordPress development. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button. The link to purchase will be down below. That is our referral link, and I'll see you in the next review.